Our season. Mike Brown fired after 5 games. Mike D'Antoni, of course, took over. Mamba out. Suffered the torn left Achilles near the end of the regular season. So the Lakers finished 7th, get in the playoffs. Spurs take them out in the first round. Dwight Howard, despite the billboards around town begging him to stay, departed via free agency. So what happens this season? Well, it begins and ends with number 24. There's no timetable for Kobe's return from that torn left Achilles, but he attacked his rehab, and he won't lower expectations for himself or his team. Ace reporter Rick Fox caught up with Kobe on Media Day.
It's tough to put a window on this thing. It's not like a typical injury where I can measure. You know, you have a knee injury, you kind of measure what's it going to be. This thing has been tough to gauge.
Well, gauging it, when you look at RG3, you look at Derrick Rose, some of their communications of timeline, does that affect your decision?
No, not really. You know, I just do my own thing and just really just measure, you know, how the tendon is feeling, how the strength is feeling, and more importantly, the recovery of it. You know, the tendon is what it is at this point. It's set. We're very happy with where it is. So now it's just a matter of kind of the muscle endurance and then the recovery after.
How's the right Achilles doing? The left gets all the attention.
Yeah, you know what? The right one gets a little jealous. Gets a little jealous, and all of a sudden, I wake up in the morning, and that thing, you know, it's kind of like nipping at me a little bit. Like, hey, don't forget about me too. You know, you are, you know, 35 years old, man, going on 18 years in the league. So I haven't had to just focus on the left Achilles. I had to focus on the entire body as well.
Well, Kobe mentioned it. There's some wear and tear there, and even among the greatest athletes in any sport, the Achilles is tricky. It's even more tricky at age 35 when the body changes. Anyway, and here are other stars at age 35 and their minutes played. And again, he is Kobe. He is different. Rick, we know this. Kobe hedging his bet with another trip to Germany. The platelet-rich plasma therapy for that right knee, his troublesome knee. He had the treatment in 2011. What do you take out of that conversation, aside from his amazing positive attitude for this team and himself?
Well, he always is going to remain positive. I was, I'm going to do me, as Kobe says. He's done him already. He's headed off to Germany to take care of his knee with some treatment. I think the communication there is going to have to tighten up between he and the team going forward here. But I think at the end of the day, Kobe did that to prolong not just this season, but 3-4 years from now.
I did a little research and homework because I remember coaching a guy that tore his Achilles tendon. That was Dominique Wilkins, who tore it back in 91, 92, and was very curious, how did he come back and what did he do that following season, the 92, 93 season? Well, he came back and averaged over 37 minutes per game, 29.9 points per game, shot 47% from the floor in 71 games. Now, he was only 32. Kobe has a few more miles on him than Dominique did at that time. But what it tells you is these superior athletes, okay, who have been gifted with these great bodies can bounce back and still be very, very good.
Right, and Dominique was, of course, the gold standard in terms of NBA players coming back from Achilles. In terms of the return, would you like to venture a guess as to when we might see Kobe? I mean, we're talking about opening day, the 29th. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I was expecting at least a November showing. I'm thinking now Miami, Christmas Day, might be a blessing for Laker fans. But prolonging his treatment here is wise, I think. If he's talking about coming back and playing more than just this year here, let's be cautious not to rush his return.
And when he does come back, Mike, there's a matter of minutes. You mentioned Dominique's minutes coming back. How much of this is on Kobe? How much is on D'Antoni? Maybe trainer Gary Vitti? All of the above?
Well, I think this is solved very easily. This is solved with a group discussion that's doctors, trainer, coaching staff, and Kobe Bryant sitting down together and agreeing, this is how you're coming back. This is what we're going to do the first 10 games, the first 15 games, 25 games, and eventually get to this point. But we want you around for more than just this season, and for your long-term good, this is how we're going to monitor it.
And Kobe has some personal issues that he wants to take care of, or at least personal milestones in terms of where he stands, all-time leading scorer. And this is the final year of his contract with the Lakers as well. So that plays into it, I would think, just fueling him.
Well, yeah, I have to think that in negotiations, he'd like to have a nice showing, prove that he's healthy, back again to the Kobe Bryant that he's grown accustomed to seeing. That would bode well for a 2-3 year extension with probably the numbers he would like to be compensated for. But more importantly, chasing that championship, that return to a championship level will require some help and support. So, to me, when I think of Kobe going forward here, I'm sure he's going to evaluate all of that. And he looks at how quickly he returns in the state of this organization.
And of course, chasing the guy he's always been chasing, Michael Jordan. He will likely pass him for third on the all-time scoring list. You know, Kobe took to Twitter last season. Some things I enjoyed. This one particular tweet, Rick, I know you want to talk about, made me a little squeamish.
Yeah, we talked about the minutes of Kobe. How do you control Kobe's minutes? And to me, I think he used social media this year around Mike D'Antoni. And you pull up that photo that he tweeted of his Achilles. And if you're squeamish, you might want to close your eyes.
Yeah.
But this will remind you of the years and the miles that are on his legs. And this was an unfortunate moment for him. But he got in there quickly, got the surgery taken care of. But he has two of those things. I got to think that the other Achilles maybe is strained over the years and the miles. And so you want to be careful.
Rick, I have a question, tough one for you here. Could you ever see Kobe Bryant in a different uniform? Because, you know, I thought there are a couple guys that you're never going to see leave. One of them was Paul Pierce. And Paul Pierce is no longer in the Boston Celtics jersey because the time came where he had to make a decision, go back into what looks like a rebuilding process or take a shot at winning a championship and joining that strong Brooklyn Nets team. And he wound up joining the Nets. Kobe's facing a similar thing. If this season doesn't go the way they're hoping that it goes, this could be a rebuilding process. Gasol could get traded. Kobe's decision at the end of the year could be, do I go elsewhere to chase that championship?
Well, if you look at the salary cap left for the Lakers next year, Steve Nash is the only player that's carrying a substantial amount of salary. So a rebuilding is coming. It's going to add, I think, some key free agents, and then I think Kobe Bryant will then decide, based on what he sees, whether it's something he would take less money for to be a part of. If not, I'm sure there's some 29 other teams that would add him to their equation to chase a championship. But with the luxury tax issues here, it'd have to be for the right price.
But that's the elephant in the room for the Lakers is the fact that Kobe's up in the summer and what might happen in terms of resetting the Laker franchise. And you mentioned Pau Gasol. We'll get to him as well. He's coming up next on our Laker team preview. Gasol returning to his old role with the Lakers. And later, you don't want to miss what Charles Barkley has to say about this franchise. It's won 16 world championships. It's very Barkley-esque.